In the stillness of night, when the world has quieted and every voice seems distant, a soft whisper begins to rise, not from the earth, but from eternity. It is the voice of the one who formed you before time began, who saw your first breath and counted every hair upon your head. And he says, "You are not forgotten." This is not merely a poetic thought, not a kind sentiment wrapped in hope. It is a divine truth, anchored in the very heart of God Himself. Even when the days stretch long and the silence of heaven feels unbearable, even when prayers seem to fall unanswered, His eyes are still on you. There was a woman in the Bible named Hagar, alone, rejected, wandering through the desert with only her child and her sorrow. She wept beneath the weight of abandonment. But in that wilderness, God appeared. He didn't forget her. In fact, it was there she gave Him a new name, El Roi, the God who sees. He saw her in the wilderness, and He sees you now. You may not feel it. You may not hear the trumpet sound or see a burning bush. But the God who parted seas and raised the dead is near. Near enough to whisper, near enough to weep with you, near enough to say, "I have not forgotten you." When your name is not spoken, when your presence is overlooked, when your worth feels diminished by the absence of attention, He notices. When your efforts are unseen, your kindness unrewarded, your love unreturned, He notices. Not one tear you've cried has escaped His awareness. Not one cry in the night has gone unheard. The psalmist declared, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." This is not a metaphor to God. It is a promise. He has engraved you on the palms of His hands. Before you were born, He wrote your days in His book. Before you spoke, He knew your voice. Before you fell, He prepared grace. You were never meant to be forgotten. You were made to be known, fully and eternally known, by the Creator of stars and souls. And when the world moves on, when people change, when memories fade, He remains constant. His love does not grow weary. His attention does not waver. You are not one in a crowd to Him. You are His beloved. Perhaps you've wandered. Perhaps you've questioned your place, your value, your significance. But God's answer remains the same. "I see you. I hear you. I remember you. You are not forgotten." The world may write you off. Life may bruise and break you. But in the divine narrative, you are still being written into glory, still being carried through the wilderness, still being whispered to in the night. Because God has not forgotten. He never will. Do you remember the story of Joseph? Betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, wrongly imprisoned, and forgotten by men who promised to remember him. Years passed in the shadows of injustice, but not once was he forgotten by God. In the silence of the prison cell, in the loneliness of rejection, God was orchestrating something far greater than Joseph could see. And so it is with you. The delay is not a denial. The silence is not abandonment. The long wait is not a sign that you are invisible. It is a season where God is doing His deepest work in you. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. The grave that once sealed Joseph's dreams became the soil where they would grow. And the same is true for the promises spoken over your life. God remembers what He spoke over you. He remembers the dreams He planted, the calling He whispered into your soul. He remembers every seed you've sown in love, in faithfulness, in obedience when no one was watching. He remembers because He is not a forgetful Father. He is the keeper of promises, the author who finishes what He begins. And if the voice in your mind has tried to convince you that you're forgotten, that nothing you've done matters, that your presence is unneeded, silence it now. Because that voice is not from the throne of grace. It is not from the heart of your Father. He declares over you this very moment. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not unseen. So breathe, just for a moment, let go of the noise that says you've been left behind, and hear his whisper, you are not forgotten. If this message touches your spirit, if it reminds you of someone you love, or if you simply want to spread the truth of God's unending faithfulness, take a moment to like this message. Share it with someone who needs it. Leave a comment about what this meant to you. And subscribe for more divine whispers like this. Your presence here matters, and it helps this light reach hearts that feel lost in the dark. Because that's the truth, isn't it? So many are wandering, so many are weary, so many have mistaken God's silence for his absence. But those who wait upon the Lord are never truly alone. They are being strengthened in the shadows, renewed in the waiting. Their names are etched on his heart, not with ink, but with eternity. There was a moment in David's life when he cried out, "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever?" And yet, even in the ache of delay, he ended his psalm with faith, "But I trust in your unfailing love." That is the posture of a heart that knows the truth, that even when the clouds cover the sun remains. So too, God's gaze remains fixed on you. And this is not a distant observation. It is a loving attention. He is not watching like a guard behind a glass wall. He is near to the brokenhearted. He collects the ashes of your past to trade them for beauty. He walks through the fire with you. He sits beside you in the waiting room. He whispers in the stillness, "You are not forgotten. I am here." You may think your story is too small to matter, that your daily struggles are too ordinary to catch his attention. But the God who notices the fall of every sparrow also notices the tears you wipe away in secret, the meals you prepare in service, the prayers you whisper in exhaustion, the hopes you dare to hold even after disappointment. He sees them all. He honors them all. You are not forgotten. The enemy wants you to believe that silence is proof of absence, that if the door hasn't opened, the answer must be no. But God is not a God of shortcuts. He is a God of process. And in that process, he never loses sight of you. Even when you feel like one in a sea of faces, his gaze is locked on you alone, as if you were the only one to love. Think about the parable of the lost sheep. 99 was safe, accounted for, yet the shepherd left them behind to search for the one that wandered. He didn't scold the sheep for being lost. He didn't wait for the sheep to return. He went, he pursued, he carried it back on his shoulders with joy. That's how God feels about you. He doesn't forget the ones who wander. He doesn't discard the ones who are broken. He doesn't overlook the ones who cry behind closed doors. His love is not based on your performance or your progress. It's based on his nature. And his nature is to love, to redeem, to remember. You are remembered, and not only remembered, but pursued, even now, even here, in the middle of your mess or your doubt or your numbness. He is drawing near. Not because you earned it, not because you proved anything, but because you are his. You are not forgotten in your sickness. You are not forgotten in your waiting. You are not forgotten in your regrets. You are not forgotten in your struggle to believe. Even when your own heart forgets who you are, he remembers. He holds your identity safely in his hands. He remembers the child you once were, the laughter you lost, the spark that once filled your eyes. And he is in the business of restoration, not replacement. Restoration. He brings back the parts of you that sorrow tried to erase. Sometimes, God hides us to heal us. Sometimes the silence is a sanctuary, a womb, not a tomb, a place where something holy is forming, even if it looks like nothing is happening. And when the time is right, the silence will break, the door will open, the promise will speak, and you will see that he never forgot. He is the God of remembrance, the one who remembered Noah in the flood, who remembered Hannah in her barrenness, who remembered Israel in their bondage. And he will remember you. But what if you've forgotten him? What if your heart has grown cold? What if you've stopped praying, stopped hoping, stopped believing? He still remembers you. This is not the end of your story. You are not defined by this chapter. There are pages yet to be turned, songs yet to be sung, mornings yet to rise, and in every one, God will still be writing your name into his purpose. So even now, rest in the truth that you are not forgotten. You are deeply known, deeply seen, deeply loved. The world may not celebrate your presence. The people around you may not see the full weight of your worth. But heaven rejoices over you. Heaven watches you, and heaven is not silent about you. The Father, the Son, the Spirit, they are in communion over your life. They are speaking your name with love. You are not forgotten, even in your most hidden places. God has not turned his face from you. There is a tenderness in how he sees you, not as a burden, not as a project to fix, but as a beloved soul worth staying for. When Elijah sat beneath the broom tree, weary to the point of death, ready to give up, God did not scold him. He fed him, he let him rest. He sent an angel to touch him gently and speak to his weary heart. Because God knew what Elijah needed most wasn't correction, it was comfort. And maybe that's you. Maybe you're not looking for answers right now. Maybe all you want is for someone to stay, to notice, to care. God does. He stays, he notices, he cares, and not in a distant, obligatory way, but in the most intimate, intentional way imaginable. He does not forget his own. And you, dear soul, are his. There is a passage in Isaiah that says, "Can a mother forget the baby at her breast and have no compassion on the child she has borne? Though she may forget, I will not forget you." It's a powerful declaration, because even the strongest human bond can fail. But God's love doesn't. His memory doesn't. His commitment doesn't. You are not forgotten when the diagnosis comes. You are not forgotten when the job is lost. You are not forgotten in divorce court, in the hospital bed, in the quiet of an empty home. The enemy may shout lies in those places, but God still whispers truth. And the truth is this: I have carried you since birth. I will sustain you. I will rescue you. Your worth is not in question. Your presence is not accidental. The moments that shaped you, the scars you hide, the battles you fought, he has seen them all, and he does not turn away. There's beauty in being known like that, in being fully seen and still fully embraced. When Jesus saw Nathanael under the fig tree, he didn't just see a man sitting alone. He saw his character, his heart, his search for truth, and he called him by name. That's what God does. He calls you by name. He sees the you behind the mask, the you behind the achievements, the you behind the pain, and he calls you forward, not to shame you, but to remind you who you really are. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. You are carried. You are protected. You are remembered in the throne room of heaven. Your name is spoken in love by the one who spun galaxies into motion. And nothing you've done, nothing you've lost, nothing you've feared can erase you from his memory. Not even death can separate you from his love. So hold this truth like a flame in the dark: you are not forgotten. Not in the silence. Not in the waiting, not in the pain. He is with you still, and he always will be. There will come a time when the silence breaks, when the light floods in, when the season shifts, and you will look back on this chapter and know that God never left. He never stopped loving, never stopped noticing, never stopped whispering your name. Because to him, you were never invisible. To him, you have always been worth finding, worth keeping, worth redeeming. You are not forgotten. There are moments in your life when the silence becomes so loud. It aches. When unanswered prayers echo longer than the questions themselves. When you sit in a room full of people and still feel unseen. But even in those spaces, especially in those spaces, God's gaze has not turned away. He is not watching from a distance. He is walking beside you, even when your steps are slow, even when your faith falters. Because the truth is, your belonging in God's heart is not based on how strong you are. It's based on how unshakable His love is. You may have grown up believing that God notices only the bold, the brave, the leaders, the strong. But look at the life of Jesus. He paused for the bleeding woman. He waited at the well for the rejected Samaritan. He touched the leper. He noticed the widow with 2 coins. He stopped for the blind beggar. God always moves toward the forgotten. And so He moves toward you. You are not forgotten in the pew or in the prison, not in the shadow of shame or in the spotlight of performance. He sees through it all. And what He sees, He loves. Maybe you feel like the prodigal, ashamed to return, unsure if you'll be welcomed again. But before you ever make it home, the Father runs to meet you. Because you were never forgotten. He never stopped watching the road, hoping for your return. You may be the one carrying wounds no one asks about, the one with silent battles, masked smiles, and hidden griefs. But God sees beneath the surface. He sees where you bleed, and He draws near to heal. There is no place you can go that will remove you from His memory. No mistake that can blot your name from His book. No failure that can erase the fingerprints of God from your soul. When Moses stood before the burning bush, it was not because he was powerful. It was because he was chosen. After years in obscurity, after murder and exile, God still called his name, Moses, as if to say, I have not forgotten who you are. And He says the same to you. This wilderness, this delay, this season that feels like silence, it is not evidence of God's forgetfulness. It is evidence of His faithfulness. Because only a faithful God could stay this close even when you don't see Him. Only a faithful God would keep shaping your story even when you've stopped believing it's worth telling. You are not forgotten, and there will come a moment when the threads of your life will begin to make sense. When the pattern hidden in the pain will reveal a beauty you didn't see forming. And you will know, it was all seen, all known, all remembered. You may not have the answers yet. You may not understand the why. But you are held by the who. And that is enough. Let your heart rest in this. The God who created you has not turned away. He has not erased your name. He has not moved on. You are not forgotten. There is something sacred about being seen. Truly seen. Not for what you offer. Not for how you perform. But simply for who you are. That longing lives in all of us. To be remembered. To be cherished. To be known. And God fulfills that longing not in part, but in full. Even now, in this moment, He is thinking of you. The scriptures say, how precious to me are your thoughts. O God, how vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. Pause and let that sink in. Not one grain, not a handful, but the sum total of every shoreline, every desert, every sea. That is the measure of God's thoughts toward you. You are not forgotten, not by the one who knit you together in your mother's womb. Not by the one who calls every star by name and still knows yours. Not by the one who left heaven to walk among us, to suffer with us, to redeem us. You are written on His heart. And while others may overlook you, misunderstand you, or leave you behind, He never will. His love does not tire. His promise does not expire. His remembrance does not fade. God does not forget what He treasures. And He treasures you. You are the pearl of great price. The one He gave everything to redeem. The one He calls by name. The one He walks with in the fire, holds in the flood, and shelters in the storm. You are not forgotten when your mind is anxious and your thoughts race in circles. You are not forgotten when depression clouds your joy, or grief steals your words. You are not forgotten when the prayers are whispered in fear, or when hope feels too heavy to hold. You are not forgotten in your loneliness, not in your singleness, your widowhood, your childlessness, not in your suffering or in your waiting, not in your wrestling or in your weeping. He sees you, and not just the parts you wish he'd see. He sees the hidden wounds, the old lies, the broken places, and he stays. He doesn't flinch, he doesn't turn away, he comes closer, because you are not forgotten. When Jesus hung on the cross, there was a thief beside him, a man who had wasted his life, who had nothing to offer, no legacy to leave, and yet, in his final breath, he turned to Jesus and said, "Remember me," and Jesus did. "Today," he replied, "you will be with me in paradise." That's who our God is. He remembers even at the end. He remembers even when others forget. He remembers not based on your past, but based on his mercy. So if you felt passed by, left out, overlooked by life or by others, lift your head. Heaven has not lost sight of you. You are not forgotten. There is a lie the enemy loves to whisper, that your presence here doesn't matter, that your pain is pointless, that your story is too broken to be remembered by God. But lies can only live in darkness. And when truth comes in, lies lose their power. The truth is, you are not forgotten. The very breath in your lungs is evidence that God is still working, still moving, still writing your story. You are not a mistake. You are not too late. You are not too far gone. You are exactly where God can reach you. In Scripture, we find the story of Mephibosheth, the crippled son of Jonathan, grandson of Saul, forgotten by the kingdom, living in obscurity in a place called Lo-Debar, a land whose very name means no pasture. Yet David, the king, remembered the covenant he made with Jonathan and asked, "Is there anyone still left to whom I can show kindness?" They brought Mephibosheth to the palace. He came limping, likely afraid, unsure of his value, and David restored to him all the land that belonged to Saul, gave him a seat at the royal table, and said, "You will always eat at my table." That is the heart of God. He brings the forgotten to the table. He restores dignity. He speaks life over shame. And he says, "You belong here. You belong, not because of what you've done, but because of who he is. A father who prepares a place for you even when the world forgets your name. A shepherd who leaves the 99 just to carry you home. A savior who went to the cross with your name on his heart. You are not forgotten, and the time is coming, yes, the day is near, when what has been hidden will be revealed. When what has been broken will be made whole. When the seeds you've sown in faith, through tears, in silence, will burst forth into beauty. God has not forgotten. He hasn't forgotten the nights you cried alone, the forgiveness you offered with trembling hands, the generosity you gave when no one saw, the courage it took to stay, to rise, to try again. He hasn't forgotten the prayers you've whispered over your children, the dreams you buried because life got heavy, the ways you served without applause, the wounds you carry from being overlooked again and again. He remembers, and he will reward, for our God is not unjust. He does not forget the labor of love you have shown his name. And though others may never say thank you, may never notice, may never care, he does. You are not forgotten. So if you are listening to this and wondering if you matter, let this truth settle over your soul. You are seen. You are valued. You are known. And you are held in the hands of the Eternal. Not because of what the world says, but because of what heaven has declared. You are not forgotten. There are seasons when it feels like the heavens have gone quiet. When the prayers you used to speak with boldness now feel fragile. Whispered between sighs, when hope seems too dangerous to hold on to. In those seasons, the temptation is to believe that God has forgotten. But nothing could be further from the truth. God is not forgetful. He is not distracted. He is not distant. He is attentive, present, faithful, and even when you can't see it, He is working. Think of Ruth, a foreigner, a widow, poor, picking up leftover grain in someone else's field. By all accounts, forgotten by the world, and yet, God was aligning every step, every conversation, every circumstance to place her in the lineage of the Messiah. Ruth was never forgotten. She was hidden, for a time, to be revealed at the right time. So it is with you. You may feel unseen in the crowd, but heaven knows exactly where you are. God has not misplaced your future. He has not overlooked your need. He is not pacing in worry over your situation. He is sovereign, and He is kind. You are not forgotten in your obedience, in the decisions you've made for integrity, for righteousness, for sacrifice. You are not forgotten when you say no to temptation in the quiet place, when you choose truth over comfort, when you walk away from what the world says is success, just to honor His name. You are not forgotten in your longing for love, for family, for restoration, for healing, for breakthrough. The waiting is not wasted. The tears you cry in faith are seeds, and the harvest will come. God is a good Father, and good fathers do not forget their children. They protect, they provide, they pursue, and if your earthly experience of fatherhood has taught you something different, let God rewrite that truth in you. He has not forgotten your cries, your dreams, your calling. There is still more purpose, more grace, more healing, more joy, and it's not locked in your past. It's waiting in your future, and God is leading you toward it, step by step, breath by breath. He does not forget what He authors. And He authored you. He authored your strengths, your wiring, your calling. He knows what makes your heart burn. He knows the gifts buried inside you. And He is not finished writing your story. So even now, even here, breathe, rest, trust. He is not a man that He should lie. If He promised to never leave you, He hasn't. If He said He would complete what He began, He will. If He called you His beloved, then you are. You are not forgotten, not in your youth, not in your old age, not in your doubts, not in your devotion, not in your brokenness, not in your beauty. He sees you still, He loves you still, and He remembers. Sometimes, the greatest comfort comes not from a dramatic rescue, but from a quiet reminder: God sees me. He knows where I am, and He is still with me. This is the God who remembered Noah in the ark, not when the rain began, but when the silence stretched for days, weeks, months. This is the God who remembered Rachel and opened her womb after years of barrenness. This is the God who remembered the thief on the cross in his final breath. He remembers, and His remembrance is not passive, it's active. When God remembers, things move, doors open, healing begins, provision flows, restoration takes root. What once looked like delay is revealed as divine timing. You are not forgotten. You may feel stuck in a chapter that doesn't reflect your worth. But chapters change. The author has not put down the pen. He's still writing, still crafting, still weaving redemption into every line. Your life is not too small for God's notice. Your pain is not too petty. Your doubts are not too scandalous. You can bring it all, your anger, your weariness, your questions, and He will not turn away, because He never has. You are not forgotten when others move on, when relationships change, when support vanishes. God remains steady, present, unshaken, and He is not just with you, He is for you. For your healing, for your growth, for your redemption, for your peace. He's not keeping you in the waiting to punish you. He's keeping you there because something is being made ready. In you, around you, through you, and one day, what was hidden will be honored. What was whispered in pain will be shouted in joy. What was carried alone will be celebrated openly. Because he remembers. He has not forgotten the child who prayed with faith. The teenager who wondered if they mattered. The adult who tried and failed and tried again. The elder who feels like their best years are gone. You are not forgotten in your beginnings. Not in your middle. Not in what feels like the end. He is not finished with you. And he never was. Every day ordained for you was written before one came to be. Not one moment is missed. Not one tear is wasted. Not one act of faithfulness is overlooked. What you thought no one saw, he saw. What you feared no one cared about, he cared deeply. So don't give up. Don't give in to the voice that says you're invisible. You are not. You are seen. You are loved. You are known. And you are never forgotten. Even when you forget to pray. Even when you feel unworthy. Even when the shame creeps in. He remembers who you are. And he calls you back, not to punish, but to embrace. You are not forgotten. In the tapestry of eternity, every thread of your life has meaning. Nothing is wasted, not the delays, not the disappointments, not even the detours. What feels forgotten to you is still held in God's hands, being woven into something far greater than you can imagine. You are not forgotten. You are part of a story that began before the foundation of the world. A story that has been spoken over with love, written in grace, covered in mercy. You are not a side note in the narrative of God. You are His delight. Zephaniah tells us that the Lord rejoices over you with singing. Can you imagine that? The God of the universe, singing over you, not just tolerating you, not merely enduring your flaws, but rejoicing, delighting, celebrating, because He has not forgotten. He has not forgotten the promises He made to you, the ones spoken in the quiet place, the ones you wrote down and then let go of, the ones you're afraid to believe in again. He remembers, and He is faithful, even when you've grown tired, even when you've stopped expecting good, even when you've lowered your hope to protect your heart. He still speaks life. You are not forgotten. You are loved with an everlasting love. You are held with everlasting arms. You are carried by the one who knows no limits, who fears no evil, who loses none that belong to Him. So when the darkness whispers that you're alone, speak back with truth. When despair says you've been overlooked, remember the cross. Remember the empty tomb. Remember the nail-scarred hands that still reach for you. You are not forgotten in your prayers that feel dry. You are not forgotten in the work that feels unseen. You are not forgotten in the kindness you show, the service you give, the burdens you carry. He sees, He knows, He honors, and in His time, He will lift you up, not to exalt your name, but to fulfill His promise. The God who remembers is also the God who restores, who heals, who blesses, who vindicates, who completes what He began. So let your heart take courage. Let your soul breathe deeply again. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not invisible. You are His. And that means you are never forgotten. He who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. This is not the end. What you see now is not the whole story. God does not stop halfway. He does not forget His own. Even when you feel forgotten by people, you are still chosen by heaven. You are not forgotten in your silent service, in your anonymous faithfulness, in your daily yes to God that no one else applauds. You are building something eternal. You are laying foundations that generations will walk on. You are not forgotten in your repentance. When you turn back to Him, no matter how far you've gone, He runs to meet you, not with anger, but with embrace, not with judgment, but with joy, because He never stopped waiting for you. He never forgot. Even in the darkest valley, He walked beside you. Even when you thought you were alone, He carried you. Even when you doubted Him, He believed in the promise planted inside you. You are not forgotten. So let this truth sink in, into the depths of your identity. Let it rewrite the lies. Let it silence the fear. Let it awaken the hope you've buried. You are remembered. You are cherished. You are chosen. You are loved. And above all, you are not forgotten. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the stillness around you. In that stillness, let this truth rise gently to the surface. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. God's memory is not like ours, fleeting, fragile, fading. His memory is perfect, eternal, engraved. Every detail of you, every moment of your story, is written with care and love. Even the things you've forgotten about yourself, He remembers. He remembers the dreams you once had as a child, the joy that once filled your laughter, the courage that once sparked in your spirit. And He is faithful to restore what life has taken. You are not a passing thought in the mind of God. You are a dwelling place of His Spirit, a masterpiece in progress, a living letter of His grace. So as you walk forward from this moment, carry this truth in your soul. You are not forgotten. You never were, and you never will be. Because the one who holds you is eternal, and His love is forever.